forgot all of everything I was doing yesterday. No, I mostly remember this. I mostly remember this paper not having any issues so far. Following tissue sampling, hemorrhage was observed in the brain tissues of all SCH-induced groups. As expected, the SCH group exhibited pronounced hemorrhage. Compared to the SCH group, the SCH was CL218872, exhibited reduced hemorrhage area, or the SCH MRK16. Larger hemorrhage area. Yo, it's back. I have to finish this today. Technically, I have to finish it for tomorrow, but it's still open on my computer, and I might as well knock it out. Consistent with the hemorrhagic findings, the NDS of the SCH group were significantly higher at 1, 3, and 7 compared to the sham group, concerning impairment. Good. Hello. I'm reviewing this paper again. I don't think I marked anything as, like, not good. Except this, and I don't even remember what I was mad about. Compared to the ICH group, the NDS of the ICH plus 218872 group were significantly lower, demonstrating a significant improvement in neurobehavioral function. Consequently, the NDS of the ICH marker 16 group was significantly higher than the ICH group 37 days. Sure. It's kind of weirdly worded, but it's not wrong. Given that inflammation serves as a critical mediator of secondary brain injury after ICH, we evaluated key inflammatory mediators. That's fine. ELISA analysis revealed a significant increase in the concentrations of tumor necrosis factor alpha and IL-6 in the ICH group compared to the sham group. Okay. I think that is 001, right? I should have another... I do have another copy of this open. Good job, me. Where are the figures? Oh, they're so low res. TNF, IL-6. Assume that's... yeah, that's fine. Western blot analysis showed that total P53 or P65 did not significantly differ across groups. The levels of phosphorylated P65 were markedly elevated in the SH group compared to the sham. Controls. Science. Yeah, I started reviewing this yesterday, but I had taken an Ambien and then kind of just went unconscious at a certain point. But I'm finishing it up. I mean, it's a lot better now. I had a lot of other criticisms for previous versions, but I definitely improved. CL218872 significantly reduced phospho P65. MRK significantly enhanced. I assume. Yeah. Technically this is more than 05, but whatever. I mean, technically less than 05. It's like 001, but 05 is not wrong. I don't feel like coming back at them with more complaints. Similar trend was observed in the tumor necrosis factor alpha protein expression with significant upregulation in the SH group. One thing that I asked is that they like exhibited a tendency. I think I asked them last time if it's a trend level effect. Say that specifically, or put the p-value for that. No, it's not that early. I'm just sleepy. I'm waiting for coffee to be delivered. Not in like a DoorDash kind of way, but in a family bought me a subscription for like the Baltimore coffee I used to drink in grad school, and apparently there's another one that's going to be delivered today. And I don't feel like spending like $15 on another... Not even a pound of coffee anymore. It's like 12 ounces. Everything's a ripoff. You should sleep. Sleep is good. I always like sleeping. Together, these findings confirm an inflammatory response following SEH and highlight the opposing immunomodulatory effects mediated by specific GABA receptor targeting. I guess, sure. Wait, no, come back. No, it's fine. This isn't very interesting. Wow, that's really stretched. How are you getting the brain? God, when I first read this paper, so many of these images are like offset or upside down. Neurological deficit score. It's not even my paper, I'm just reviewing it. N equals 10. Counted all those. The first version of this paper had so many issues, like the scale on some of these graphs would be like between 0 and 1.5, and then another one would be like 0.095 to like 0.001 or something. I don't even remember. I first got it like in June. The guy that runs this journal, maybe not runs this journal, but was an editor for the journal, and he's working on the paper. Excuse me, getting it through peer review. Apparently thinks that my input is like critical to getting it accepted or not. I remember I asked for more time, and he wrote the journal again on my behalf and is like, yeah, Dr. So-and-so is critical for this paper. They wrote incredibly detailed peer reviews, and they need more time, so you better give it to them. And it's true. I have been going through this in a very fine-toothed comb. Yeah, this is fine. Let's see. I have it here somewhere. In my USB drive. I mean, it was a lot of work. You know, people write reviews and sometimes they're like a couple paragraphs. I wrote reviews that are like big comments, a billion small comments. It was a lot of work, and I didn't even recommend that it be published. It's like an incredibly detailed rejection notice, and then I wrote another one for the next version, which is like equally long, and then I wrote another version. Each one of these went from reject, major review, or major revision, and minor revision. It's getting like progressively shorter, but like it's very thorough, if I would say so myself. Oh, excuse me. H&E staining revealed that the SEH group exhibited characteristic pathology of this. And before it had so many little issues, like these insets wouldn't even be lined up with the image. Stuff like that. Now they are. Okay. Given the concentration of hemorrhage in the hippocampal adjacent regions and the high hippocampal expression of GABA receptor A1 and A5, we focused on hippocampal pathology. Good. I made them include that line. Administration of CL218872 markedly reduced cellular evacuation, alleviated edema and diminished tissue damage in the hippocampus, suggesting mitigation of SCH. Okay. Like, I've already checked this for content like 3 times. Now I'm just making sure that it's written in a way that you can process it. Conversely, the ICH plus MRK16 group showed exacerbated hippocampal hemorrhage, vacuolation, edema, and more pronounced tissue injury, indicating potential exacerbation of damage. The problem is, I'm not a pathologist, and there's a point, not in these images, I mean, in these images, not these like lo-fi versions, but in the HD ones where you could actually make out the details. I kind of know what I'm looking for, but not always. Not always, excuse me. Like, some of these, you just kind of have to look at it and be like, well, this looks bad in a way that I can't exactly quantify. You know, like, I guess it would be good if it looked more like this, but it looks like that, and I assume that's bad, but I don't know. I think it's okay. Oh, sham-operated mice displayed hippocampal neurons with clear morphology, orderly arrangement, abundant cytoplasm, and prominent nissl bodies, with no observable neuronal loss. See, like, it's hard. Like, oh, would you say... Oh, these are the sham ones. Never mind. I was gonna say, if they're saying this is no neuronal loss, I'd be like, well, I mean... like, kinda. The ACH group demonstrated significant hippocampal neuronal loss, cellular deformation, cytoplasmic shrinkage, reduced nissl bodies. Like, I suppose... CL20 attenuate these structural demonstrating neuroprotection. In contrast, to the HMRK showed severe hippocampal neuronal loss, faded or condensed cytoplasmic staining, and nuclear condensation, indicating exacerbated neuronal damage. One thing is that I don't know why this is only figure 2B. Oh, I guess if you're only looking at nissl staining for that. Never mind. I didn't scroll over. Oh god, the early version of this was so marked up. I'm kind of surprised that it's at a point where I'm just going to recommend they accept it. I didn't think it'd get this far. Golgi staining revealed up in the neurons of dense dendritic arborization, robust synaptic connectivity in the sham group. God, I wish I had a coffee. The SEH group exhibited significant reductions in neuronal density and dendritic complexity. Yep. In contrast, CL218872 treatment restored neuronal density and enhanced dendritic connectivity, indicating neuroprotection. Conversely, the ICH-MRK group showed the most severe impairment. These findings demonstrate that CL218872. Yeah, that's all right. Yeah, it's the hippocampus. It has this. Excuse me. This very specific structure when you slice into it, and they're coronal sections. So you kind of. Let me see. I don't know if they have the 3D Allen Atlas in this. I think they do. Oh, do I have Brain Explorer? I do. Yeah, it's, no, not sagittal. I'm mostly just looking for the dappy stains. Sorry, give me a second. And I guess, well, Oh, yeah, these are your hippocampi. There's two of them. I forget um, if this lets you go, like, section by section. Oh, yeah, there you go. Oh, well, maybe not. I don't use this software very much. I mostly want... Oh, there it goes, yeah. So, these are coronal sections through the rodent brain. And then you can see your hippocampal formations start to come in. And you've got your different tracks. So you've got like your CA1, your CA2, your CA3. I don't know if this will... Oh, it does. Yeah, so there's CA1, there's CA2 next to it, and then there's CA3 at the bottom. This doesn't do a very good job of labeling them. But how do you rotate this? Yeah, like that. So what these are here, it's somewhere. I don't know. They didn't put the exact Allen coordinates for how far in the brain they are. Probably roughly this far. You can tell because eventually chunk of CH2 and CA3 goes all wacky. So you're probably like, I don't know. Does this label how many millimeters through it is? Doesn't really. But yeah, no, that's what you're looking at, which this may or may not actually make anything useful. Oh yeah, the break in the law folder. That's that's where I put all of my legal stuff. Oh, I can only move the mouse up and down so far, and then it goes off the screen. Yeah, I used to do all my grad work in the hippocampus, and now I do it all in the basal forebrain, which is earlier. You could tell it's right there. It's got... Every time I look at it, it's like this creepy, angry face looking at it. You know, like eyes, nose, mouth. I mean, these are mostly like... Does this label structures if I put my mouse over it? No. No, sadly. I don't use Brain Explorer. Yeah, this isn't very useful. I guess it's good for anatomy specifically, but they're mostly ventricles for cerebrospinal fluid. But it's got this angry face. People call it the mustache slice. It is kind of like a proboscis monkey, though. Or like the Pringles man. I don't know. Then you have the olfactory bulbs, and then it's gone. And there's no more brain. Let's see. Here's the pathological evaluation. Pathological, I mean. Hippocampal regions in ICH mouse. Eye, H&E staining, tissue morphology. 250. These are not labeled correctly the first time. 250 and 50. These are all right. At least this paper will be done, and I won't have to review it. Seal 218872, activated astrocytes in the perihematoma region. I felt kind of bad. The first version of this paper had, like, immunohistochemistry for, like, it reduces total expression of all GABA A receptors, and they did a stain that I had to look up in the methods for what the antibody was actually staining against. And it was only GABA A receptors with gamma 1 subunits, which are not the most prevalent type. And when I mentioned that, like, hey, you should either like change this or say you're only staining for this one subtype of this receptor population, they took the whole thing out of the graph or out of the paper, and I felt sort of bad. I mean, like, that's one way to respond to it, but, like, you could have kept it in. You could have just said, like, this specific population was knocked down. But they took the whole thing out wholesale, and that was, like, hours of someone's work. Let's see, different reaction, no change compared to shim, indicating suppressed astrocyte activation. Contrast, oh, this is GFAP, that's right. This reactivation of astrocytes suggests a neuroprotective mechanism, possibly through enhanced gliosis-mediated tissue repair. Conversely, MRK16 further reduced GFAP expression. Compared to the sham group, sure. I feel like I'm just getting dumber. It's like I'll read things, then I'll look back at the figure, and it's like, what? No. Oh, no, that is right. There's one paper I was looking at in my review article that I was like going crazy about. I thought I was misinterpreting it. What's the guy's name? It's like Andrew Levick, but it's not. And it's got like little European symbols in there. There's like a line over the L and like a hat over the I or something. I'll check it after this. But they had this paper. Actually, I could probably find it if I just use search terms. I think it was PWZ 029 in 5X FAD model. Yeah, this guy. I don't remember which of these it was, though. Is this the one that... No, this is the subunits. It would be this one. Yeah, and this one is freely available, and the other one's not. This paper was driving me crazy. I was having, like, a moment of panic because it's written sort of strangely. And in my paper, my big review article, I had like the big summary table where I was not sure I did it right. Which is the final version? Where does that live in here? I've got so many folders that are all like final, pre-final, actually final. I think it's this one. Sorry, this doesn't matter. But here, it was like, you know, reduction, transcription of like GFAP and increase in GFAP in this other group, and then like reduction, whatever. And I was like double checking everything and was not sure if I screwed that up because like some of these sentences are not very clear. Like, additionally, transgenic male controls had higher GFAP levels compared to transgenic female controls in hippocampus. PWZ029 treated transgenic males and non-transgenic females showed lower and higher GFAP levels compared to solvent-treated transgenic males and non-transgenic females, respectively, in hippocampus. And I thought I had interpreted that correctly, and it turns out I did, but also, like, looking at this figure to see what the comparisons were that I was supposed to be looking at was like driving me crazy because I was so afraid I screwed it up and like had part of an email drafted out to the journal. This is too low res to even read. That was like, hey, I think we need to take this line out. I think it's wrong, but I didn't because it was right. But like, you know, they're just showing you know, the transgenic mice with these Alzheimer's mice have higher levels of like inflammatory markers, but then they have like, you know, the treated mice as well. So it's solvent treated, and then the GABA PAM, or the GABA NAM, or no, the GABA PAM, and then the GABA NAM. And it's like, okay, each one of these is significantly marked. And in one of the things that I did in my paper when I was referencing this, I said there's no change in the transcription for any of these. And I went back to look at this and was like, wait, that can't be true. These all have 3 stars. But it's not that there's differences in the treatment as much as it's like a difference between the transgenic ones and the non-transgenic ones, regardless of treatment. So the actual comparisons are looking at like, okay, is there a change in, you know, TNFA, tumor necrosis factor alpha, in the hippocampus? And you're not looking at these or any of these, you're looking at this, which is to say, like, okay, non-transgenic males, wild-type litter mates, have significantly less TNFA expression. Not even expression, just, well, like, transcription expression levels, but not, like, protein, because this is qPCR. Sorry, there's a bug there. Oh, I missed it. Did I get it? Oh, I hate fungus gnats. Anyway, it's like, okay, you're looking at non-transgenic males getting this compared to something else. And some of these aren't, like, even that useful, because, like, this comparison to this comparison, comparing males to females, that's interesting, but not like a drug effect. That's just like a sex effect. So that actually is not a very good example. You'd want to be looking at, like, God, you know, like this, like, solvent-treated transgenic male, or transgenic females getting, you know, PWZ029 have reduced IL-6 expression in the hippocampus, because you're only comparing, you know, the transgenic group to the transgenic group with a different treatment. None of these. And, like, looking at this, I was afraid that I was, like, not interpreting anything correctly. Like, okay, females in the transgenic group that received, you know, the GABA-NAM, or GABA-PAM MP3022 have significantly higher IL-6 beta expression in the hippocampus compared to non-transgenic mice receiving PWZ029. Like, yeah, it's a comparison that you can make, but, like, what does that mean? Really, like, nothing. It's not like a drug effect. It's, you know, multiple different variables in here, and when I'm, like, trying to summarize it for the review article, it's just like, I don't know what to say about a lot of this. And I was, like, freaking out that I was misinterpreting everything, and I kept making, like, spreadsheets for, okay, what do I pull for this figure? What do I pull for this one? Yeah, no, you're not supposed to, ideally, as some sort of statistical principle, you're not supposed to make a bunch of superfluous comparisons for things, or else you'll more than likely just come up with, you know, a lot of false positives. If you just run it multiple times, and you have, like, corrections for those that you apply post hoc, but I don't know, it was like 10 o'clock in the evening, and I was steadily freaking out that I misread everything. And then I was, like, reading the description of the results, and just, like, really, really nervous. I had misread it like 6 times, but no, it was good. Anyway. Oops. It is sort of fun to be a reviewer because you don't have to. I'm not in grad school, I'm a postdoc. And hopefully soon I'll just be a regular independent scientist. I'm doing peer review on a paper I rejected, and then came back and I said major revisions, and then it came back, and then I said minor revisions, and then it came back, and I think I'm just going to accept. because they did everything I asked for, which in total is probably like 15 plus pages of changes. Oh, there's a gnat on my screen. Oh, it's gone. Damn. Let's see. I assume the scale bar is correct. I'm sure I looked at that at one point. I was really mean about some of these figures because they were just not good or correctly labeled. If I felt like getting on them, I could say take this out because there are no 2-star comparisons, but I don't think anyone cares. No, this is... The problem is peer review is volunteer work, and, you know, people don't often give it the fine-toothed comb that it deserves, and a lot of shoddy science comes through. Whereas sometimes you get really detailed peer reviews, and it's because you're writing something that someone else in the field who has the opposite hypothesis does not want to be true, and they know a lot about the subject, but like with conclusions and a body of knowledge that points in the opposite direction, so they'll write you a really harsh review that's really detailed and requests a whole bunch of additional work for like slightly different motivations. Why is it so expensive to submit a paper? Because the journal takes it. The journal takes all the money. The authors don't get it, the reviewers don't get it, the journal takes it for publication fees, the journal takes it for supporting, like, I don't know. I mean, they pay copy editors, they pay, like, editors-in-chief and regular editors and whatnot. Sometimes. Not every editor is paid. But I don't know. I couldn't tell you why it's expensive, and it's even more expensive if you want to pay for open access, which is like on day one, paper comes out and other people can read it if they don't have a journal subscription. But that's like thousands of dollars more because, oh no, we might lose out on the money that would otherwise be generated from people who subscribe to the journal who want to read the article, or people who, I've never seen anyone ever do this, but pay the like $35 to $50 to access the paper like once. Every time I get a paywall paper and it's like, you could pay money for this. I don't know who's ever done that. To like read an article and pay like $50 for a PDF. I'm sure it has been done, but I bet the vast majority of papers that people do that for, or people publish, have like, you know, no attempts to ever just buy the PDF. You just access it through your institutional library, or you email the author and the author will just give it to you for free. Fun fact. TMNS is the Vic Babel. Oh yeah, these things. The electron microscopy. Neurons in the sham group exhibited normal mitochondrial quantity of intact structures, indicating clearly discernible double membranes and cristae, along with distributed synaptic vesicles. There should be a space in the period here. I'm gonna let the copy editor get on them about that. In contrast, the SCH group exhibited significant pathological alterations characterized by reduction of mitochondrial numbers, fragmentation of the double membrane. Ah, they didn't change it. No, I'm so mad. God damn it, they said they changed it. You can't. They literally said they changed it. They said that they changed it here because they said they had a complete absence of synaptic vesicles. And I said, well, that's not true because you labeled 3 of them. It's not a complete absence if there are some and you're pointing them out. And I said you should change it to something else. And they said a marked reduction is what they changed it to. But they didn't change it to that. They changed it to marked absence, which is not the same thing. If you want to say there are fewer, then say that there are fewer. But if you say there's an absence, you can't label them. Why would you change? Ah! I'm so annoyed. I just wanted to send like a general, like, you're good, no more changes. But I mean, I don't know. Like, where's like a robot I could ask? No, I mean, that's the problem. It's a factual record of presence. I think they're maybe talking about that in like a public school context. I gotta make a note so I don't forget that. That's so annoying. They literally said they were changing it to something that was right, and then they didn't change it to that. I don't... But then if I send... I mean, if I send back minor changes and they send back corrections, it might just be accepted by the journal at that point. Sometimes it doesn't go back and have all the reviewers say, like, yep, I'm happy. Sometimes they just change it and then submit it back to the journal, and the journal doesn't send it back to reviewers. Let's see, conversely, this manifested the most severe damage, featuring mitochondrial disintegration and destruction of synaptic vesicles. I suppose. 200 nanometers, 500 nanometers. They had something else, oops. They had something else labeled at some point in one of the earlier versions. I don't remember what it was. Maybe I still have it. I have all the old versions of this somewhere. Excuse me. Yeah, this is the first version. The first version that was like... Wait, is this the first version? This looks better than I remembered it being. Oh no, this is the first one where we have the y-axis 0 to 1.5 or 0.9 to 1.05. I don't know how you missed that. I don't know how you have two 0 to 1.5s and then you're like, I don't know, what if we just set this at a different scale for yucks? And then this one that had like brains, whatever the hell this is. Brain, upside down brain. Or this bit where it was like, buddy, this inset is not this. I mean, it might be, but it's not. And like, you know, like, this doesn't fully line up with this. Maybe it's the same thing, but it's not. You know, like, things like that are just like, I don't know, just showed like a lack of care. And like this, when I was like, no, it's not all GABA A receptors, it's only the ones that have gamma 1s and not gamma 2s. And then they took this whole figure out completely, and I felt a little bad. Let's see, they had mitochondria. Oh, they had synaptic junctions that were labeled. They actually had a lot more in this that they initially removed. Because the problem is, like, I would make comments like, okay, these are hard to read. Like, where you're labeling synaptic junctions, especially in that low-res version, it's hard to see what this is. Because it's just, like, small red text that's not bolded over black or dark gray. And I would say, you know, make that easier to read. And they wouldn't do that. They would just take it out completely. And, like, I guess that's one way to, you know, acknowledge the problem. However, you know, I felt kind of bad. You could have kept it. God, what is this email I just got? Trusted house sitters. Start your pet sitting adventure today. Oh. Why am I getting emailed this? Is this just like live in someone's house for a day, put food out for their dog, don't eat the dog, or do. The worst they could do is give you 1 star. Let's see. BDNF, gap 53, sampifizin or established markers and plasticity in the SH model. Expression levels of BDNF, PSD95, and synaptophysin were significantly reduced, indicating impaired synaptoplasticity. Sure. Compared to the SCH group, these markers were significantly upgraded in the SCH, indicating enhanced synaptoplasticity. Conversely, these markers were further downregulated in the SCH, reflecting impaired synaptoplasticity. No, they didn't really fuck it up. It's essentially, like, good to go, except for one thing that they said that they changed, but they didn't change, and kind of annoys me. Notably, gap 43 expression increased following SCH. Further elevated by seal, whatever. But suppressed by MRK. This pattern suggests that SCH induced cellular damage. Sure. Yeah, it's fine. Okay, now the discussion. Oh, this had so many issues with it last time. I hope I don't have to edit it more. SCH is a devastating cerebral vascular accident characterized by high mortality and disability rates, posing a significant challenge to global public health. Good, that's a sentence. Currently, the therapeutic arsenal against secondary brain injury following ICH remains limited, driving the ongoing exploration of novel neuroprotective strategies. Good, that's a sentence. The study focuses on the subunit specificity of the GABA-A receptor, aiming to dissect the distinct roles of alpha-1 and alpha-5 subunits in the ICH pathological cascade. You know, I blacked out yesterday and don't remember if they... Okay, yeah, they did keep this affinity in there. Is there a particular conflict of interest in paying people for peer review, or is it just a funding issue? I mean, you could argue it's a conflict of interest by having people be, like, paid reviewers rather than, like, experts in the field that the journal specifically picks out to do the reviewing work. You know, you could, if you're submitting it, say, like, pay a copy editor to go through your paper prior to submission. You just have to list them somewhere. You know, it's not like an argument we all kind of go around with already, you know, settled debates in our head in terms of, like, oh, this is why we can't have paid peer reviewers. We just kind of accept it. It's more of like a conflict of interest for, like, oh, these people have a monetary stake in the outcome and getting this published or not, or these people are, like, your buddies, or these people are, your heated rivals that are not going to give a fair review. You know, like, compensating for an expert to look over your stuff is not necessarily a conflict of interest. You know, you think about all, like, the legal cases where you know, hire an expert witness to provide testimony on something. But I don't know, you can maybe argue that's a conflict because you're getting your witness that's going to say what you want them to say, but regardless, I don't know. It's more of like a philosophical debate at a certain point, like how do we get to truth? Who do we rely on as being the arbiter for that, and how do we make sure that we don't have any sort of, you know, niggling issues that crop up midway? I have no conflict of interest in this. I mean, if anything, I'd prefer if MRK-16 were not exacerbating post-brain traumatic injuries, but whatever. It is what it is. Oh no, slashing research budgets is all bad. You know, it's already hard enough to get funding in, like, a well-funded environment, let alone, like, oh, everyone's fighting even harder to get their funding and have, you know, the ability to pay for food and rent. And, like, oh, well, how do we know they're not overselling the data? How do we know they're not cooking the books? Because the incentive is, well, do you want to eat or do you want to starve? That sort of thing. Let's see, I'll finish this. Our findings demonstrate that CL21 confers marked neuroprotection, whereas MRK and brain damage. This result not only underscores the subunit-specific nature of GABAergic interventions, but also highlights their critically context-dependent therapeutic. Whoa, that's not what we want. Well, no, I want this. This study demonstrates that CL218872 exerts neuroprotective effects in a mouse model of ICH through multiple mechanisms, including ameliorating hippocampal pathological damage, suppressing neuroinflammation, mediating or modulating astrocytic reactivity, and promoting synaptic repair. Good, that's fine. Overall, CL218872 treatment significantly reduced cerebral hemorrhage, improved hippocampal pathological morphology, and promoted the recovery of neurological function. This finding directly confirms... I think I told them to change that. And I think they didn't change that. No, they changed it. Oh! I was saying, I don't like that they talk about it saying directly validates. They said that they changed potential therapeutic value to potential research value. They did not change this part, and if anything, directly confirms is, like, even worse wording. You know, say supports, not directly confirms. I'm sorry. It's one paper. You know, it's like how you don't confirm a hypothesis. You could support a hypothesis. You could reject a hypothesis. But at the end of the day, it's still a hypothesis. Ugh. Man, am I gonna have to, like, get on them for 2 points? And just be like, look, this is not right, and this is not right. They're minor, but please just fix it. I don't know what else is in this. I guess we'll find out. Hopefully it's not. Given the abundant expression of GABA receptor alpha-1 and alpha-5 signaling in the hippocampus, we evaluated the GABA receptor modulator's effect in hippocampal pathology and ICH. Histologically, CL21 reduced cellularly, CL21 unit ultrastructurally. That's a word. CL218872 treatment promoted mitochondrial membrane repair, Reduced vacuolization, restored synaptic vesicle clustering, indicating recovering synaptic transmission. This should be capitalized. Oops. I guess it's going to be minor revisions. With like 3 things pointed out. I guess so. Oops, that shouldn't be red. Please don't put more stuff in red than has to be. Regarding anti-inflammatory effects, this exhibited pharmacological efficacy. Sure, I guess. Experimental data showed that after CL1 intervention, the expression levels of this and this were decreased. Man, I told them to get rid of this sentence as well, because this is the same sentence. You know, expression of inflammatory cytokines, IL-6 and TNF-A were decreased, and the activation of the NF-kappa B signaling pathway were suppressed. These indicate that this, by acting on this, inhibits the NF-kappa B signaling pathway, downregulating the expression of markers like IL-6 and TNF-A and anti-inflammatory markers. This is what you said already. Like, this... I literally... See, this is the annoying thing about this article. I'm sorry. But... I will tell them to change things, and they will say, "On it, Chief," but then they don't do it. Like, this is what I'm referring to. This first sentence is redundant with the following sentence, restating many of the same findings and can be removed. And they say, "We thank you for your comments. These were indeed multiple instances of similar conclusions in this section, and the authors have made the necessary deletions." They didn't. They didn't, though. It's the same. No, you get the red pen. Like, it is just a stylistic thing, but also... they didn't do it. Like, what the fuck is this? What are you doing? Okay, you literally deleted the line that I said you should delete, and then you reinserted it again. Right? Like, why? Like, I'm going crazy. It's... it's the same. Yeah, man, I'm gonna have to send them another minor review. And it's like, line by line, I will tell them what they should change it to, and then they're like, yup, and then they don't. And at this point, they should just give me authorship credit, because I've, like, ghost-written this thing for the last 8 months. Right, like, these are redundant, right? Wait, hang on. Where's the clanker? What does the robot think? Oh. Okay, at least I'm not crazy. The phrasing is repetitive. That's the correct... those sentences earned your anger. Oh, God, this is... Why does ChatGPT type like this? Why is it always like... These sentences earned your anger. And honestly, you're totally valid for thinking that. Like, stop. This effect may mitigate toxic damage. I gotta get my pen back. Thereby alleviating secondary injuries such as cerebral edema, neural apoptosis, sure. And if kappa B is significantly activated post-ICH, its activation level... I guess. I mean, the fact that they didn't do specific things I asked them to do almost makes me think I should go back and, like, double-check that they did the other things. But at the end of the day... Like, I can only waste so much of my life on this. Not rage baited. Oh, I just tripped that. I have been rage baited though, that's the problem. Because there's a bit of me that's like, if I don't go through and make sure they did everything I want, they're getting one up on me, and it'll be like, ha ha ha, we said we did it, but we didn't do it, and we sure showed them. Like, no, I need to maintain power in this academic struggle. How much of this is accidental versus trying to pull a fast one? My interpretation from the very beginning is that this is like 70% a matter of carelessness and just wanting to get it out and not, you know, giving it the time and attention and thorough consideration and look over and everything before submission that it deserves, and like 30% Chinese to English language barrier. A lot of the grammatical issues have been cleared up over the other reviews, but like I don't think it's trying to pull a fast one with like malicious intent. I think it's just carelessness more than anything, which is like maybe worse. However, we had 2 reviewers in this paper, and the first one said it was not written in intelligible English, and I said that it was, so I was being nicer about that. Furthermore, this exhibited a significant effect on astrocytic reactivity, external data, GFAP, and okay. Because again, it's like the thing in the early version of it, where like, you know, how do you miss these scale bars being this different? How do you miss this brain image being upside down? You know, stuff like that when you're putting the figure together. I don't know, like I get really paranoid when I submit anything. Whereas, like, there are just so many little issues. Like, how is this inverted compared to the inset and nobody noticed? Of the, like, 7 authors. I don't know. Upon brain injury. Sure, I guess. Like, I feel like I might have had a problem with this sentence where they didn't back it up with anything, but... Like, this is something that kind of annoyed me, but I just made peace with it. Where it's like, oh, an increase in this inflammatory marker GFAP is often associated with worse outcomes, but in this case, because it went up with the drug treatment that we wanted it to go up, it might actually indicate that... Oh, sorry, it's gap 43. Where's the GFAP? Like, because it went up here, it might actually indicate a good thing. And, like, I guess... But, like... Might also just want to say, like, it restores GFAP expression to baseline levels. Rather than interpret it as, oh, this bad thing is good. Did I double check? They had that one citation that was just, like, wrong. Man, I feel sort of bad. I also got on them for this. Like, I looked up their institution in Google and did not come up with any hits. And then they sent me a certificate showing, like, no, it's real. Which, you know... It was not that, like, I don't believe that they exist as an institution, and as, like, an English-speaking American... This doesn't mean anything to me, but, like, I guess I believe it. And I'm not saying it's not a real institution. I was just Googling to see if I could find any, like, author affiliations, and it didn't come up with anything. And I was confused. I guarantee you, though, I bet this is the most protracted review they've ever had. For no good reason other than the fact that I'm a miserable jerk. But I'm not a miserable jerk. I'm just... picky. Like, this thing still drove me crazy. Like, all you're trying to do is talk about a change in the balance of excitatory to inhibitory transmission potentially changing astrocytic phenotypes. Sure, fine, whatever. Why is the paper that you cited important roles of linoleic and alpha-linoleic acids in regulating cognitive impairment, neuropsychiatric issues, and metabolic-related dementia? You know, stuff like that. Like, you're just citing a completely unrelated paper that not only is unrelated to the thing you're trying to cite, but has nothing to do with the rest of the paper either. You know, it's just this overall sense of carelessness for the whole thing. And I'm not just saying that because I wrote like a 200 citation big lit review that is incredibly dense and incredibly good. And I double and triple and quadruple checked literally everything and then did all the citations by hand. Therefore, we speculate. Sure. No, I mean, standards do have to be set. I mean, it's like the last opportunity for anybody to look at something before it enters the scientific literature and the body of knowledge and then is just cited as apparent fact in other papers. Sure, this is fine. At the molecular level, C218872, treatment marked blade regulated. Upregulated the expression of several key proteins, including BDNF, PCDN5, and epiphysine. Okay. Sure. How long did I stream last night? It was an ambient evening. I don't think it was that long, like an hour and a half maybe. Oh, what a drug. That's fine. Integrating these findings, propose that 1 a.m. Yeah, I mean, I got home at like 11:30, so that checks out. Sent a bunch of text messages. They're not even that, like... They're not even, like, poorly texted as much as it's like there's just so much self-pitying in these texts. I think I said I should kill myself like 3 times to this internet rando who's got my phone number. Need to sleep today, kill self tomorrow. Oh, here's a good message. Girl I'm pseudo-dating is so pretty, and other than being unemployed, lives a much more fulfilling life because of it, and I'm such a disgusting subhuman gourd with hair. Classic. Oh, I was absolutely on sleep drugs while writing that. Either 2 things happen with Ambien. Either A, I'm like a total idiot and I can't spell anything and I'm having a fun time, or B, it's like embrace nirvana, it's the 3rd day of Majora's Mask and the moon is going to kill me and I want it to kill me. And there's like no in between. But truthfully, they're like I'm kind of into both. In a way. I don't want to get this channel banned again, though. By being too sad. Even though I did literally stream from this psych ward. Yeah, well, I mean, you're not a comedian because you have a well-adjusted life and you're happy. Not to say that I'm a comedian or unhappy, but still. Let's see, that's fine. Let me double check something. Where are those lines that I said you should get rid of? 447, 450. Are those the ones I was thinking of? Yeah, it is. It's literally this chunk. Wait, is it? No. Oh, I don't even know. Maybe it's a different thing. It doesn't matter. This version will stand alone anyway. Yeah, I'll pretend its art comes from suffering. Just consider my existence and all the products of it to be art. Sorry, it'll be another Zelda game at some point. What was the last thing I played? I guess it was Gomon. I could go back to Master Quest. There's a part of me that kind of just wants to play Star Fox Adventures. I mostly just want to play that, like, mostly complete hack of Dinosaur Planet on the N64. Which to me is like a more interesting product than Star Fox Adventures. Maybe I'll do that. I mean, I feel bad sending us back for like a 4th round of review for like minor issues, but also, I mean, minor issues. Oh, I made them put this in here because they talk about MRK exacerbating tissue damage and neurobiological recovery. And I was like, well, what about the fact that every other paper says that it's actually pro-cognitive and it promotes synaptic plasticity and everything? Here's a suggested citation. It's mine. And they put in the section that I requested, but they didn't cite me, but that's okay. I mean, that's what the discussion section is for. Taking your results and putting them in the greater context of the rest of the literature. Like, we agree with this, we don't agree with this other paper, etc., etc. This might be why. Or why not? They should have done it right. Let's see. Should be a period here, but I don't even care. It's such a minor thing. I mean, some of it is, I'm sure, language barrier related. Oops. Although I do feel like if you used any sort of word processor and had the language set to English, it would say, hey, put a period here. I feel like I sound so gravelly today. Maybe I always do. Research has revealed that meeting transient fishes. What? MRK-16, an alpha 5 non-agonist. What? Did you change that? I don't think I would have let you say a non-agonist. Oh, this is all new. It's an inverse agonist. It's not a non-agonist. I don't even know what that means. Is that like a term I'm not familiar with? A partial agonist? I feel like when you say non-agonist, that's like flamazanil or something. Like it binds, you know, like an allosteric site or something. No, I guess flamazanil's an antagonist, actually. Never mind. Yeah, I mean, that's gotta change. And this is like new that they put in. Research has shown that alpha-1 and alpha-5 GABA-A receptors belong to different subfamilies, mediating transient phase inhibition and tonic inhibition, respectively. Research, however, did not show this to such an extent that we would cite it. I don't think they even have to put this in here because they've already mentioned tonic and phasic inhibition multiple times, and it's weird to introduce it here. How's my day? I don't know. I woke up. I'm finishing reviewing this paper. I work this evening. I gotta head into work in like 5 hours. I want a coffee. I mean, this is fine. This is not. This is... Yeah, I'm gonna have to send in additional changes for this. Because this is... It's got like... I don't know. If it had like 1 or 2 minor things, I would just let it slide. But we're up to like 5. And like, if you're gonna say agonists and non-agonists, which is like not the term for this class of drugs, and you're talking about mirror image bidirectional regulation, Why would you not just use the term inverse agonists and agonists? Like, it's right there. This principle may be leveraged to design MRK-16 for comparative studies with alpha-5 selective GABA agonists. What? What do you mean design MRK-16 for comparative studies? Like change the molecule to be an agonist instead of an inverse agonist? I mean, you can't. Like, I mean, maybe you can. But, like, the molecule for GABA is so distinct from the molecule for MRK-16. Like, it's not even close. I don't, like, I know what they're trying to say. I don't think this sentence says it. I think they're just trying to say, you know, we can use MRK-16 in comparative studies or something like this. This is... I'll take this to work and write up the thing. Something like that. Because they're just trying to say, like, we could drive this receptor subtype up or down to see what it does, which, like, okay. But, you know, you're not looking at an alpha-5 selective GABA agonist. You're looking for, like, a positive and a negative allosteric modulator. Of which there are many. Because I just wrote a review about it. I should tell them to cite the new review. No, it'd be too obvious. It's me. And I thought they should change this as well, but I don't think they did. It's like, okay, all I wanted you to say was benzodiazepines are not, you know, neuroprotective in stroke because we've used them in patients and in the clinic and it doesn't actually work the way that you hope, and thereby your model of driving down excitation and enhancing inhibition, you know, is up against that. How do you address that? And I provided them multiple ways they could do it, where they don't have to write a whole page about, you know, the problems with benzos. I don't think they changed any of them It's just... The problem is it just shows up and like, again, why do you delete the sentence and then you put it back in? As widely utilized central nervous system's agent in the United States, BCD's care, whatever. Okay, fine. Take that out. I agree. We don't necessarily need it. And then, as a widely used central nervous system drug in the United States, benzodiazepines again. Like, what I'm saying is this is too much. We don't need a whole page. But you didn't do it. Like, maybe I'll just... I don't know. I mean, at this point, they're just gonna get it in by attrition. Like, again, major points. You know, they put a range of caveats regarding benzodiazepines. These are important. It's roughly 1 page long and includes many clinical contexts, like, you know, the elderly, pediatric intensive care, pregnancy. You know, it would be strengthened if you use more space rather than talking about regular classical benzodiazepines. I guess that was a good reason that I put a question mark here, because it did not make sense. Yeah, I mean, it's not untrue, it's just like... You know... You're eating a Big Mac and you bite into a pickle and you're like, okay, well, I expect that to be there, and then the rest of the Big Mac is just made of pickles. And, like, I guess they didn't do anything wrong, like, that's supposed to be on the burger, but, like, now the burger's all pickle. Like, I literally said this sentence is unrelated. And, like, you can get rid of this, and this, and this, and this. You know, risks of dependence, withdrawal, and adverse cognitive effects. There. You don't need to put in... You know, withdrawal, dependence. Like, dependence, withdrawal, adverse cognitive effects. You don't need... Leads to psychological dependence, withdrawal, alcohol. Like, seizures. No, you don't need that. Like, it's not wrong. What if you just put, like, seizures? And, like, there, you added the one new thing, and then take that out. I don't even think you need increases the risk of cognitive decline. Well, I mean, I guess elderly. As in, like, at a risk for stroke. And this should be clinical studies. Not a clinical study demonstrated. I'd also prefer if you put the citation for this clinical study after this sentence. I mean, I assume this is the citation for it. God, everything here is so redacted. Do you think you're looking at the Epstein files? Clinical studies demonstrated. I mean, I guess you can keep this. I said you don't need to. I don't know, maybe I'll yellow it over and figure out what to do later. I mean, at a certain point, it's like, look, what do you do? I said you should do this. If you don't want to do it, you either, like, A, disagree, or B, don't care. But when you're like, yep, we've done it, and then you didn't do it, I don't know which of the two that is. And normally if a reviewer says, you should do this, and you don't do it, you write, I disagree, I don't think we need to do this, and you explain it, and it's fine. You don't just gloss over it. Clinical studies... I mean, this is either studies or a study. I don't know, is this a meta-analysis? Spending all this time looking at it. Okay, yes. Well... At first I thought this was... Oh, I wish we had DOI session numbers on here. That's okay. This isn't a meta-analysis, right? No. Wait, 8 and 90 days after stroke. Oh no, that did say 8 and 90. I thought it said 9 and 90. And again, it's like... I don't know, it's like you hit a dog and now it's sad. Like, I'm saying no. Don't... Like, be aware of the fact that benzodiazepines don't have neuroprotective effects when you're talking about your benzodiazepine-like compound. And you're like, we don't support any putative neuroprotective effects of GABA receptor agonists and should alert... Like, that's fine. But now you're just, like, ripping up your argument midway and you don't have to. It's like, non-selective. Like, the whole point of this is to say, I'm trying to feed you the answer, it's that broadband suppression of excitation is not good, but maybe selective subunit-specific suppression could be. Because it's only targeting certain regions that are particularly vulnerable to ischemic injury. But you're just... Sorry, this might all come off as really pedantic, but... Yeah, like, you have to mention it's non-selective, because then you talk about selective ones in the next sentence. This, I think, should have a citation, though, right? I mean, exhibits high affinity in hippocampal cortical enrichment, demonstrating markedly reduced respiratory depression, hypotension, delirium risk. Like, I guess maybe you could just say that as, like, a generally understood fact. I don't know, it's fine. I guess the rest of this is okay. Yeah, man, it's just gonna have to be another minor revision. Then they're gonna send it back to me, and then I'm gonna have to look at it again, and they would have put in a new paragraph, and the new paragraph is gonna be something else that is not right. In summary, this study demonstrates the divergent biological outcomes resulting. It's fine. Except conclusion reveals that enhance of long reflection represents probably. I mean, I guess you could assume it's restoring AI balance. You didn't do any of that, though. Just look pointy. Whatever. It also provides crucial preclinical evidence for developing subunit-specific GABAergic drugs, while simultaneously highlighting the necessity for comprehensive evaluation of their therapeutic potential against clinical risks. What? These findings not only deepen our understanding of ICH mechanisms, but also provide crucial preclinical evidence for developing subunit-specific GABAergic drugs, while simultaneously highlighting the necessity for comprehensive evaluation of their therapeutic potential against clinical risks. I know what they're saying. I'll just mark it as like good, but also no, not red. What was the last sentence before? That feels new. No, it was old. Also, I don't think you ever... Meticulous review. That's right. I'm meticulous. You have to define the term ICU also. Or just don't put the abbreviation in, because you only used it once. Or maybe it's fine, like, I don't know, that's something the journal would probably catch at some point. Like, oh, this list of abbreviations does not have this abbreviation in it. Yeah, I'll save this and I'll do it later. I finished this at work. Second revision, third revision. Good. Great. Did that save all the changes in it? What? Oh, okay. I was wondering where all my highlights went. I was slightly worried they did not save any of those. I'm still working on getting my paper formatted correctly. Mine's pretty good, though. The tables aren't formatted right. Oh, I should actually save this. Anyway, mine's coming together at least. It's just the tables aren't quite right, which has been a mess for all parties involved. I think it looks pretty good. Other than the tables and some other stuff. Look, it's my figure. It's all the PowerPoint auto shapes. But I was annoyed because, like, these aren't adjusted on the same side. Like, Gabba Pam should fit on one line. This also should all be adjusted in one direction. Because here it's like, whoa, a little wonky. Here it's good. But here it's, you know, like, where's the center mass in this? Not in the center. This one's mostly fine. A little bit offset, but not to an extent I care about. Whereas, like, this one, bam, perfect. I don't know why they all can't look like that. And then the main table is a nightmare of, like, extra cell lines everywhere. Where it's like, oh, is this line here because this belongs to this only? They're working on removing these, apparently, but, like, I'm annoyed by this extra space above this that's, like, not here. I'm annoyed that these have indents, whereas, like, these don't have indents. Things like that. Just because I put a lot of work into it, and I'm very picky. You know, like, the height of this table should have nothing to do with the height of the content in this table. And it just makes it harder to read. You know, like this one there, it's fine, it fits, it works. Nothing is, like, too big for no reason. But, like, this does not need to have 3 blank lines just because this thing is, like, next to it. Kind of a working stream. I mostly finished all the work. I'll finalize it when I'm actually in lab later tonight, because I'll have a few hours of downtime. I don't put them in a water maze. This is a review article. It's the Morris water maze, so it's shallow and opaque water, essentially, so they can't you know, track very well where they're walking, and it's mostly like a visual spatial task. Yeah, put them in the water temple from Ocarina of Time. There you go. Give them like tiny little keys. Like, it's pretty good. I'm really happy with how this came out. It's very dense, but in a good way. In a way that makes it so you don't have to read a bunch of additional papers. You can just read this one. Yeah, put clams in there. This one mouse seems really grumpy and it just can't deal with the clams. Anyway, I'm gonna go and I don't know if my coffee showed up yet. Make like oatmeal, I guess. I want coffee. I have a coffee gift from my family that's showing up. It's out for delivery, but it's not there yet, and I don't have any coffee, and I'll have to take like a caffeine pill instead. Anyway, thanks for hanging out as I reviewed the paper again. I might have to review it for a 5th time. Possibly. Let's hope not. But we'll see. Anyway, bye.